The rain fell hard over Uhuru Hospital in Nairobi, Kenya. As Nia Kamau, a nurse with 10 years of experience, sat at her desk. She was tired, her eyes heavy, but she kept going. Tonight felt like any other long night, until something strange happened. The doors to the hospital slid open with a soft beep, and Nia looked up, expecting to see a patient or a doctor. But her eyes went wide, and her cup slipped from her hand, shattering on the floor. Standing there in the entrance was a lion, a huge lion with golden fur dripping from rain. Everyone in the hospital froze. Nurses stopped moving. Patients stared. Even the security guards didn't know what to do. But the lion didn't roar or attack. It just stood there, calm but powerful. And then Nia saw something that made her heart stop. In the lion's jaws was a small bundle, wrapped tightly in a cloth. The lion stepped forward, its big paws making soft thuds on the tile floor. Its golden eyes locked with Nia's, and even though she was afraid, she felt something deep inside her, a strange trust. The staff whispered in shock, too scared to move. But Nia couldn't look away. She stepped closer, her heart beating fast. Every part of her screaming to run, but her feet staying firm. The lion came right up to her, then slowly lowered the bundle to the ground. It nudged the cloth with its nose, then sat back, watching Nia. The hospital was so silent now that the only sound was the rain outside. Nia's hands shook as she reached down and carefully unwrapped the cloth. Her breath caught in her throat. Inside was a tiny baby, no more than a few days old. The baby's skin was pale, and its chest moved weakly. A faint cry escaped its lips, soft but full of pain. Tears filled Nia's eyes. She turned and shouted, "I need the baby team now." Her voice cut through the silence like a knife. Doctors and nurses ran over, grabbing equipment and an incubator. The lion stayed still, watching everything with its deep, knowing eyes. It was like it understood that its job was done now. As the baby was rushed away, the head doctor, Dr. Juma Okoro, came running. He stopped and stared at the lion in shock. Nia quickly told him what happened, her voice shaking. The lion brought the baby. It saved him. Dr. Juma blinked in disbelief, but nodded. Meanwhile, the security guards raised their weapons, ready to shoot. Nia stepped in front and shouted, "No one hurts this lion. It saved a life." At that, the lion stood up. It looked back at Nia one last time, its eyes soft and bright. Then, without a sound, it turned and walked out into the storm. Nia stood frozen, her heart racing. Something about this night felt bigger than anything she had ever known. And when a nurse ran over with something found in the baby's blanket, a gold locket with a picture and the name Asha, Nia knew this mystery was far from over. Inside the neonatal unit, the room was full of rushing footsteps and busy hands. Doctors and nurses worked fast around the baby, their faces tight with worry. Nia Kamau stood just outside the glass window, watching with her heart pounding. She pressed her hands together, whispering a prayer. The baby's tiny chest now rose and felt a little stronger, helped by the warm air in the incubator. Nia felt a small wave of hope, but deep inside, her questions only grew. Dr. Juma Okoro came out of the room, wiping his hands on a towel. His face showed both relief and confusion. "The baby is stable, Nia," he said, his voice low. "Dehydrated and cold, but no signs of injury. If that lion hadn't brought him, he wouldn't have made it through the night." Nia nodded, clutching the gold locket she had found in the baby's blanket. But her mind spun. Who was this baby? And where did he come from? Before she could ask more, a voice crackled over the hospital speaker. "Security to the main entrance. We have a situation." Nia's heart jumped. She turned quickly to Dr. Juma. "Stay with the baby. I'll check this out." The hospital lobby was no longer calm. Rain still dripped from the roof, but now the front doors were crowded. Police officers stood talking to security guards, and outside, reporters and curious people gathered, whispering about the lion. Nia pushed through the crowd and found Kamisi, the head of security, speaking with two police officers. "What's happening?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. Kamisi pointed toward a man standing just beyond the doors. He was tall but thin, with wild hair and clothes soaked from the rain. His eyes darted around like he was searching for something. In his shaking hand, he held a photograph. "He came in a few minutes ago," Kamisi said. "Says he's looking for his son. Claims he knows about the lion." Nia's pulse quickened. She stepped forward, her eyes meeting the man's desperate gaze. "Sir, I'm Nurse Kamau. You're looking for your son." The man's lips trembled as he held out the photograph. Nia's breath caught. The picture showed a woman holding a baby, the same woman from the locket, and standing next to her was this man, his arm wrapped around her. "My name is David Mwangi," he said, his voice breaking. "My wife, Asha, she died 3 days ago. Our car crashed in the storm. I went for help, but when I came back, my baby was gone. I thought I lost him too." Nia's heart ached. "Your wife's name was Asha?" David nodded, tears filling his eyes. "She gave me this," he said, pulling out a matching gold locket. "Said it would protect him, no matter what." Nia's hands tightened around her own locket. "David, your baby is here. He's alive. But there's something you should know." She hesitated, her mouth dry. "A lion brought him to us." David's face went pale. His mouth opened, but no words came. Finally, he whispered, "The lion, it was Asha's wish." Nia's heart pounded louder. "What do you mean?" David took a deep breath. "Asha grew up near a wildlife sanctuary. There was a lion there. She called him Simba. She always said he was special, like he could understand her. Before she died, she told me if anything happened, Simba would know what to do." Nia stared at him, chills racing down her skin. The pieces were starting to fit, but the mystery was only growing deeper. David stood inside the neonatal unit, tears running down his cheeks. His eyes stayed locked on his tiny son, lying in the incubator. The baby's chest now moved steadily, no longer weak and shallow. His little hand twitched, as if he could feel his father near. Nia Kamau stood beside David but gave him space. She watched silently as the man leaned closer to the glass. "He looks just like her," David whispered, his voice shaking. "Just like Asha." Nia's heart warmed, but her mind couldn't rest. "Your wife's love and that lion's courage, they saved him," she said softly. But inside, more questions were twisting around. Where had Simba the lion gone? And how could any of this even be possible? David wiped his tears and turned to Nia. "I don't know how to thank you," he said. "There's nothing to repay," Nia answered. "Your wife's wish and that lion's heart, they brought him here. That's what matters." But even as she spoke, a feeling grew stronger in her chest. This story wasn't over yet. As dawn broke over Mombasa, soft golden light filtered to the hospital windows. The storm was finally gone, leaving behind the fresh scent of wet earth and rain. Nia felt an invisible pull inside her, guiding her feet toward the hospital's main entrance. She stepped outside, the air cool and clean against her skin. The street was quiet now. The crowd had gone, and only the faint hum of morning traffic floated in the distance. Her eyes scanned the road, her heart silently calling out for the lion. And then she saw him, just beyond the edge of the hospital parking lot. Standing half hidden in the trees was Simba. The great lion's golden mane shimmered under the soft sunrise. His powerful body stood tall and strong, but his amber eyes, they were calm and full of knowing. Nia's breath caught. For a moment, it felt like time itself paused. Simba's eyes met hers, and in that silent gaze, she felt everything: gratitude, love, and goodbye. The lion gave a low, deep rumble, almost like a purr, and then turned away. Step by heavy step, he walked back into the trees. In seconds, he vanished into the shadows, as if he was never there. Nia stood frozen, her heart thudding loud in her chest. She clutched the golden locket in her hand, holding it tight against her heart. Tears pricked her eyes, but a smile also touched her lips. The world, she realized, was still full of wonders. Sometimes love and loyalty break all the rules we know. Sometimes a lion walks into a hospital to save a life. As the sun rose higher, casting warm light over Mombasa, Nia whispered a soft goodbye to Simba. But deep inside she knew this was only the beginning. If you want to hear more about the next chapter in this unbelievable story, don't forget to like this tale, subscribe for the next part, and share the wonder with your friends. Because sometimes the greatest stories are the ones we never expect.